Before we go for the main thing. All right, here's the chart. That's a roughly general approach. What I'll be doing when it comes to getting my mind working the right way towards playing lines on standard progression. So here I have all of me. And the thing is that possibly the first step, usually that I take as a first thing in the day, usually when I get into playing anything, is just getting the sound getting the sound of progression in my head. So I would possibly just slowly work through every individual change, and I'm thinking of chord changes as a shifting environment to what happened before. So all of me is a good starting point because it's in C major, and it launches as well in this very straightforward very straightforward 1, 2, 3 movement. But what I would do, I'd possibly focus at first on just the major chord. So I'm gonna loop a couple of bars of C major very slowly. And now I'm gonna play very simple chordal lines. By chordal I mean emphasizing root, 3rd, 5th, 6th, major, 7th. So, say first trick, I'll be playing chromatic bridge between 3rd and 5th of the chord, between E and G. Both ways, ascending and descending. Let's do some variety of rhythms. It's all in rhythms and phrasing. Note choices are a secondary thing. Long notes, short notes. Different articulation, every note picked, for example. Now with hammer-ons. Boring as hell. Okay, let's add chromatic bridge between A and C, between 6 and root. Now, let's try to combine those little chromatic movements between E, G, A, and C, and also not necessarily just playing all the chromatic runs for now, but also playing single notes as they are in the chord. That's at the bottom root. Okay. Now, apart from those two constructs, right? Getting my ear onto those resolution points, I'm just leading from my third to my fifth, and from my sixth to my root. With all the rhythm variations, simple things. Now, very powerful tool and a very comfortable tool. We're adding root, fifth and sixth. Okay, I see that my stream is breaking, but hopefully it will catch up. But will it? Okay, hopefully. Okay. If there is any problem with stream, I'll be happy to hear that, because I'm on a cellular network, so I don't know how reliable it is. Okay. So we're supposed to add root, fifth and sixth. So for C major, we're just on the first. We're on the first two bars of. Where's this chart? Here. First line, first two bars. C major 7. That's what we're doing. We're playing things that work on C major, and there's plenty of them. Right now, I'm just doing little old style bopping chromatic runs and playing chord tones, right? So we had from the top root, chromatic bridge between those two, root to 6, so 8 to 5th fret, again 8 to 5th fret on 2nd string, from 5th to 3rd, then we added root, now we're doing 6th and 5th. So these are like strong notes and certain things that we're gonna use. On top of that, we are perfectly allowed to do chromatic approach from below to any note that we play, and we can think of it as a as articulation tool or melodic tool. Doesn't matter. We're just and any combination, any variant of these notes. Let's see how it sounds in the context of chord and compig. Let's try to bridge this 5th and 6th on D string between 5th and 7th fret. I'm just adding chromatic note. Okay, so these were chord tones, just in simple one position with a bit of chromatics, with a bit of approaches within, and close really anything, but it's not that relevant right now. Let's see what we can do with more to get slightly more interesting sound, because this still sounds very tethered to one chord. It sounds like I'm just playing almost C major pentatonic with some chromatics, which, in fairness, it's a little bit the other way around. Major pentatonic is actually C6/9 chord, but played in a consecutive manner, right? It's not like a run or arpeggio. It's just exploded and squished C6/9 chord. We have root. This is our ninth, or second, major third, fifth, sixth, and root. But I think of this instance as I'm playing C6 chord, right? And or just C. It's not even irrelevant if it's C6, C6/9, C major seventh, because they're in this specific context they're completely interchangeable and equivalent. I can even think of it as A minor, and this is the main thing. Let's try to superimpose other triads that are also one chord. In this specific situation, it's going to be A minor and E minor, right? A minor is C6 chord starting with 6, and E minor is C major 7 starting with 3rd. But let's pretend that they're a thing of their own, and that they're actually starting with their roots. Let's try to listen for them as a putting minor chord over major backing, and let's try to explore just the triad as it is over major chord, and let's see where it's gonna get us. So first thing that I'm gonna start is E minor triad. So I got E, G, and B. Well, it starts getting boring really quickly. Let's add 9 to this. Sorry, it's going to be E minor 7. So we're adding 9 of the chord E, G, B, and D. So hard for me just to stay within constraints of this little chord, triad, and or E minor 7. So between 5th and 7th of this E minor 7, B and D, well, I have my familiar shape that basically asks for 4 fingers. So let's do the chromatic bridge in there. Okay. Now, next thing, we got E minor 7 over C major. Now let's check how A minor 7 sounds. So we'll have A, C, E, and the G. And same situation between E and the G. Chromatic bridge that we already did on the first exploration of C major chord. Now, let's combine those two. I'll play E minor and A minor as a tool not to stay in one place too long, for too long, just, following the taste and wherever the melody brings us. Okay. Now, let's try to combine all those ideas. But also, I'll let myself transpose this E minor an octave lower, so seventh fret on A string, fifth on D, fourth on G string, and seventh on G string. So it's going to be E minor 7 arpeggio over C major. A minor, E minor, C major 7, E minor, A minor, E minor. Okay, so these are very, very. This is like an overview. What can be done there, right? Some very basic tool. It doesn't mean that there's a complete set of ideas, but this is something that we can quickly reach for. So, linking chromatically chord tones, and emphasizing what these chord tones are. We're thinking root, third, fifth, sixth, 9, and major 7. And therefore superimposing equivalent secondary tonics, right? 6 chord, 3 chord, over one. And it's still we still didn't move beyond first two chords. So let's see what's gonna happen in third and fourth bar, because we have E7, which is dominant, and this is a bit of a kind of worms, because dominants are one of these things that contain so many options and so many shifts in tonalities that it might take quite a while to get familiar with all of them. But some of the concepts that work for other chordal stuff that we just did, in other words, playing between chord tones, chromatics, and superimposing different strides, of course it will be applicable. The problem is that we're going beyond the chord symbol, and this E7 doesn't tell all the story. Basically, what the way we're gonna think of it depends mostly on our taste, because usually I'm gonna plug a little E7 here. Now let's start just with third and fifth. Third and fifth and little chromatic bridge. Chromatic bridge between fifth and seventh. I'm on first string. This is 7th and 10th fret. This is root. This is 7th. So and I do a little bounce of open string. It's not applicable in every situation, but here, why not? So I can use open E and do a couple of tricks here. So I'm doing chromatic approach, syncopated chromatic approach onto chord tones. Now, the tricky bit is that in this sort of context, because we're in in key of C major, we might think, okay, there is E7. Where would this E7 actually come from in C major? And the way I like thinking of it and ending up having certain tension notes with this E7 is that the only natural way that it can be there as a dominant, as a 3 chord It's like secondary dominant or secondary dominant, blah, 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 doesn't matter. It could come from A minor, that is a relative minor to C major, and it's simply dominant of A minor, but because it is dominant. Obviously, it's a dominant chord, so it has to it's got to have G sharp in it. Third, it has seventh, which is D. It has fifth, which is B. But naturally, it will inherit F from the major scale, from C major scale. So this chord will be derivative from harmonic minor. And this E7, though it doesn't say that on chart, is, we can agree in certain situations that this is E7 flat 9, and it's a very distinct sound that we'll try to incorporate. So this is so E, G sharp, B, D, and F. These are my chord tones. And it nicely resolves to E. Now, how does it sound in context? I didn't play this flat 9 in the chord, so this note will sound quite tense, but it's a very, very good melodic device, and we'll talk about one more crutch, one interesting thing that comes from the factory with this E7 flat 9. Meanwhile, a bit of dominant chord. This is my F, my flat 9. So this thing here, third, flat 9, seventh, fifth, third, flat 9. Now, this is something that is being used and overused by everyone, but it's a good sound to introduce if it has never been there in your melodic vocabulary. What I play here is just diminished run, so it's something that is made of minor thirds. In this case, G sharp, B, D, F, G sharp, B, D, F, G sharp, B, D, and so on. What is it good for? For everything. This is where a bit of a math is involved, but this chord is made of minor thirds stuck together. Minor third is a distance of 3 semitones. If we divide 12 by 3, 12 half steps of chromatic scale, by 3 we get 4. So we can divide equally octave by those 4 sections of 3 semitones, and that's exactly what happens. This thing, if we just keep building minor thirds and minor thirds on top of each other, so let's say I'm starting on G sharp on my third of E7, and then go minor third, it's B, then minor third, it's D, then minor third, it's F, and then minor third and G sharp, and that's it. It loops. It after 4 notes, it goes back to the starting point and wants to repeat and repeat and repeat. So it's not hard to guess that basically this kind of diminished thing, no matter on which note we started, it will always work because it's like an inversion of the same chord. But if it starts repeating so quickly and it doesn't really alter after those 4 notes, it means that if we take every key in existence and our 12 steps of chromatic scale, that there only can be 3 of those, all right? Because they contain, every single one of them contains 4 notes. We have 12 notes, so one chord will take 3 notes. Will take 4 notes. 2 chords will take 8, and 3 chords will take 12, and there's no other options that we can do. So if we know those 3 diminished runs, we automatically know all flat 9 chords in every key. It's a very, very handy thing to have. Of course, whenever there's a dominant and we start playing, it will wear off fairly quickly. I think after 20 years, it's going to really sound a bit boring. Therefore, it's good to know the sound, but this is not the only thing that works there. And because flat 9 flat 9 is not altered in any way, it's just a diatonic chord to harmonic minor. If I play a harmonic minor, it's E, B, C, D, E, F, G sharp, A, right? So if I build the chord in thirds from E, G sharp, B, D, F. That's just how it is, right? So this is not in any way altered chord. It just lives there in plain sight, and in this specific tonality and style, we are thinking in usually in functional terms, not in terms of scales. It's not like, oh, C major 7, oh, so it's C Ionian. Not really. Oh, E7, it must be Mixolydian. No, it isn't. Then we're going to have A7. Oh, Mixolydian again. No, not at all. Then we're going to have D minor 7, which points to, oh, is it actually Dorian? Everyone told me that D minor 7 in C major is a rosy. Not necessarily, right? We are limiting ourselves, and also scales don't provide us with any melodic mechanisms, as opposed to chord tones and triads and superimpositions and enclosements and chromatic movements. Of course, we're talking in context of bop and swing music, which is chordal, is functional. Okay, let's loop those first 4 bars. It's going to be C major 7 to E7, and we'll try to play some lines over it, and maybe I'll remember what I'm doing there, because I can only retrospectively describe what I just did. It's not like I can sit on one concept and they're just trying to play it and play it to death until I find something new about it. It's just about having more of a holistic approach to the whole line, and maybe strip down certain things, like, oh, well, what I played there came from this mechanism or this sort of inspiration. But yeah, let's see. It's very late, therefore my brain is not working at all. Therefore I just play how I feel. C major and E7, and let's try to play line. Okay, so another very important concept, because we're building tiny little motifs and we're playing changes, which means that we can use our little call and response ideas, because C major 7 and E7 in this particular case we'll have plenty of common notes. We'll have E, which is third for C major, which is a root for E7. We'll have F, which is bad, very bad for C major, and we're gonna ignore it. But it's a tension. It's a flat 9, but it's half step above E. We'll have B, which is major 7 for C, and is fifth for E7. We'll have D, which is 9 for C major, and 7th for E7. But if instead of thinking in abstract terms, we just superimpose those chords. When I imagine, okay, this is my C major triad, this is my C6, this is my C6 and major 7. All very, very, very good notes. All right. Now let's see, where is this E7 flat 9 on top of this whole thing. So when I think of that, this is my 3rd and 5th, but E7 will have G sharp and will have this F here. So it's like something that we've been rolling about 20 minutes ago, but chromatic bridge between root and 5th will also work between flats 9 and 3rd, or even in root and 3rd of E7. So let's try to make tiny little motifs. First we play idea in C major, and then we'll try to accommodate it to E7 with maybe slight changes in rhythm, maybe with some sort of resolution, maybe with some sort of call and response here and there. Let's see. C, E7, and I'll start on 3rd. Let's try to with open string, because we have advantage of having open string here. So, the same mechanism applies further. We have E7, that is a 5 chord, it would usually resolve on A minor, but here it goes to dominant A, which delays the resolution, right? It's a dominant that introduces a new dominant. So it's almost like going to the key of D minor, A7 to D minor, 5 to 1, for a very, very, very short while. And same thing that we did with between C and E7, trying to finding certain smooth way of threading line from one chord to another. We're just moving between two dominants. So I'm gonna loop E7 and A7, and let's try to make things that work for one and the other. Okay, basic idea. E7 flat 9 to A also flat 9. So what I'm doing here, again, all these lines, they have nothing to do with any scales. I don't hear any scales. I don't think in any kind of dominant or altered or half whole or diminished scale. It's just this is chromatic mode. I'm playing A7 right now. A7 flat 9. This is chromatic approach to third, chromatic approach to fifth, chromatic bridge between third and seventh, flat 9, root 7, and chromatic bridging between 7 and 5th. So yes, 7 and 5th. And here's major 9 for some reason. This line. I'm playing F on this A7, like I'm pretending that this is a flat 13 chord that is also flat 13, because it will resolve on D minor. D minor has note F, so this note is there. This is my D minor line. Okay, so let's try to play first 8 bars. Again, okay, C major, E7, flat 9, A7, to D minor, and back to C minor. C major, A7, A7, to D minor, and again C, and I start with E minor, then E7, open strings trick, more open string trick, A7, so that's roughly how I would do it in this specific concept to realign my ear. This is possibly not how I would solo, because there is way more to it. First of all, is playing off other musicians. Depending how much room there is, what kind of sound, what kind of articulation, what ideas that the previous soloist played. Is anyone listening? What is the dynamics? Would rhythm section follow me if I build attention? Would they keep it quiet and soft enough so that I can play with that I have a starting point, that I can play with my favorite quite gentle touch and tone? Or do I have to play really hard to cut through? Obviously, I'll play different ideas. If someone is comping exactly where I want to play solo, I'll have to go either lower or higher so that I can hear my line. Right. So this is one of those things. And again, I was talking a lot about note choices because I wanted to be brief and go through at least those 4 chords. 4 chords per hour. That's quite quite abysmal, quite pathetic rate. But things that are more important are, again, I'll be banging on it like a broken record. Phrasing and rhythms, and I'll try to play something over those four chords that will incorporate some of it. Not that I didn't pay that much attention whenever I played before, but I'll try to make it a bit more real this time, maybe without trying to constrain myself, because usually when I play those solos that I want to demonstrate certain concept, I try not to introduce too many things from outside of scope, like we're talking about E7 triad, but I sneaked a tritone substitution there or something, like, or some other tense crunchy thing. Okay, so first 80 bars. And so on and so forth. Right? I'll try to keep my. I'm trying to. Oh, Kevin, thank you so much. Merry Christmas to you as well. CW, thanks so much again. Merry Christmas to you as well. Okay, so I think that I'll wrap it up for now. And tomorrow's Christmas Eve, and I'm doing my last run of Christmas shows. So well, it's gonna be sad to say goodbye to the wonderful crew that I'm working with, but hopefully there'll be some more stuff coming in upcoming future. So maybe I'll just pick up where I left today, tomorrow, and this chat I'm sure it's gonna be available for replay, and I know that it's just a rambly thing and I'm talking things from top of my head, but again, it's more about rough concept that makes those things tick. So, well, I'll try to do more of a make it a regular thing, especially come January, and hopefully it's someone will find some use for it. Even if there's just like one or two ideas for every video that even a single person can get something, is for me it's worth doing it. All right. Thank you so much, CW. Good night and Merry Christmas to you as well. Okay, that's where I'm wrapping the stream up. Oh, I can make the chart disappear. All right, so good night everyone, and thanks so much for tuning in, and hopefully I'll be back tomorrow and in upcoming days as well. It's been absolute pleasure to have you all here. See